if you want to do the basketball analogy, that right now we have a team that's a very powerful team, and that's the virus. And what we need to do is that we got to play a full court press. I mean, we can't let them get the ball on the ground to dribble. We just got to be all over them. I mean, that's what we really got to do, because that's the only tool we have right now. And the game, we're not even at halftime, Coach K. You know, I mean, we're just fighting it out. And then what would be really nice to continue the analogy is that if we can just hold our own, and then when we get back in the second half, just come out like blazing. And that's what we really need to do. Otherwise, that this stuff is going to really, really be very harmful to us as a society.
Those are the words of Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has really become an American hero for so many with his leadership, speaking on Mike Krzyzewski's SiriusXM radio show, Basketball and Beyond, that he does with our friend Dave Sims on a regular basis. And it's so many people from so many walks of life visiting with the man who's coached Duke for 40 seasons, 12 Final Fours, 5 national championships. And on this night when a national championship would have been crowned in Atlanta, and maybe it would have been Duke, who knows, Mike Krzyzewski is nice enough to hop on the phone and join us from Durham. Coach K, you were talking to another point guard when you were talking to Dr. Fauci. What did you find interesting in that conversation that you two had on your radio show?
Well, what an honor to, have a chance to have a conversation with him, and it's an honor to be on your show. And you've been a great friend for a long, long time, and helped in the fight against cancer with the V Foundation, so we appreciate that. But Dr. Fauci is a stud. You know, if it was sports analogy, he was a point guard at Regis in New York, and he's been a point guard his whole life. I called him America's point guard because he's always delivering. He's always assisting, and at this time, we need to listen to the experts in the field, in this field, and there's no one who is better in analyzing infectious diseases than Dr. Fauci. He spent his entire life doing it, so he's the most instinctive and the best, and he gave us a lot of good points on the show. It was an honor to have him on.
Show is recommended listening all the time. The conversations that people have with Coach K are just a different level. I always enjoyed that. Coach, you have always been a tremendous leader, going back to your West Point days, obviously the 40 years at Duke. How do you see your role right now in all of this? I guess it's multiple. It's the Krzyzewski family, your Duke family, and then your visibility as one of America's most recognizable sports figures. How are you seeing your role right now?
Well, I think the very first way everyone should see their role is that they're part of the United States team. You know, that we're all team members from everywhere. And what we do and how we are responsible and how we individually handle what's going on and deal with it is fundamentally simple. But if it's all put together, like on any team, if everyone's doing their job, that team has a better chance to win. Obviously, with my family, we have 10 grandkids that live right here, my 3 daughters and their husbands. We don't see them. I mean, we put them up on FaceTime, and there's calls and texts and all that kind of stuff. But we do our social distancing and do all the things that are necessary. For my Duke team, and when I'm on the athletic department, I'm on the Duke University team, so follow their orders. You know, whatever they're doing. As a leader, sometimes it's good to be a team member and understand what it is to be a team member. But I'm responsible for my group. I just spent the entire morning. Each morning I have a conference call, a Zoom conference call with my staff to go over everything with our kids and what we're doing, our players, and then with my Duke staff, my infrastructure, and this morning had a long talk with my medical team to go over contingency plans based on whether or not we know there's not going to be a first session of summer school. What do we do with our guys? What do we do if there's no second session? Because that's a big thing as far as physical preparation, and to come up with contingency plans. And one thing I'd like to mention, Mike, during this time, the NCAA, they've made a great decision in what they've done thus far. But as we're moving forward, we need to really be unbelievably flexible and access. I worry about not just the physical stuff with our players, but and our students, but the mental and the suicide. We've had a couple suicides here in the Durham community, Duke students, and when you have this, what's going on, where you're spending a lot of alone time. The more access we can have as coaches to workouts, to structure, to see our kids face to face, and let that go through the summer. We need to look at that access to the student athletes, and also physical workouts that can be done at home. I think that would really help. Really help. I'm sorry for talking so long
in that area. No, you can talk as long as you want. You know that, pal, because you share so much. You've been a leader in your community. Your players, watch what Zion Williamson did down in the New Orleans area, paying arena workers. There have been so many different things that we could discuss here. If you can just leave us in our last minute or so with this. There are a lot of us who are leading in ways we never thought. And you always said that, yes, you're a coach, but you always wanted to be a teacher, a high school teacher and coach at the soul, at the crux of what you've done over the years. Can you provide us, all of us, with some leadership advice when we don't know what's at the other end of the tunnel? We don't know the timing. We're trying to find ways to inspire, but find authenticity in that inspiration. And you've had great words to gold medal teams and championship teams. What words can you leave the leaders of our country as we deal with this crisis right now from your perspective?
Well, the very first thing is I wish on a daily basis we wouldn't have 2-hour press conferences. I wish, people don't hear for a long time. And so if it's something important, say it right away. And also follow it up. I think in leadership, you have to be able to speak so your people hear you, but they have to see, and so graphs and, Governor Cuomo has done a great job of this, and for us hearing and seeing. And then the third and maybe the most important thing is, how do we inspire? How do we make people feel what you hear and see? And if you can have those three things, then we own it. And whether it be with your own families, your own business teams, your own communities, how do we hear, see, and feel? And then how do we work together where we own this thing? In other words, we're all part of the solution here. And that's why we need specific instructions and listening to our scientific and medical community. And the last thing, the troops on the front line are healthcare providers. Everyone who is there, the nurses, the people who feed, who clean, and whatever, understand that they're going through combat that's never been done before, because they're not only doing it on the front lines at the hospitals. When they come home, there is fear that they cannot interact with their families. These are amazing heroes, and whatever we can do to help them, and also to thank the grocery people, the pharmacists, the people who deliver, say thank you. Again, you don't have to hug them. Don't hug them. Keep your distance. But understand that these are the people who are keeping us going, and we'll come out better, and we'll come out doing some new things as a result of this. But we need to work together, obviously, to beat this horrific virus.
So often your words have been winning words. Let's hope those are too. Best to Mickey and the Duke family. Thank you, Coach K. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.